Hi Stampers, this is Debra Burgin from HeartfeltInkspiration.com, bringing a technique video Wednesday to you. And it's something that I started weeks and weeks ago, and it was when I was first learning how to make videos, and so it never got published. Also, I want to say that I'm trying out a new situation here. My stepson was in town for several days. I expressed dissatisfaction with the way I was doing things, and he thought this would be an improvement, so we will see. The video that I want to bring to you is about how to use a mask, these Mylar masks, specifically with sponge rollers to create an ombre look. So never mind that these sponge rollers, Sponge Brayers are dyed in shades of pink. We're actually going to use a different colorway. So first of all, about the product. So these three masks are from a set called Basic Pattern Decorative Mats. And you will find them on page 146 of the 2020-2021 annual catalog right here. They're $6. They're really reasonable. And although you can use embossing paste with them, which is what is being shown down here, we're going to be using these Sponge Brayers. And the Sponge Brayers, which are on the opposite page, are also very reasonably priced. This is Sponge Brayers, right here, number 19. $8 for 2 handles and 4 sponges. So they will get stained, and it's okay because as long as they're clean, they may be stained, but they won't be releasing ink onto your project. So here we have 3 different designs. This, what I would call a damask pattern, which is the one that we're going to use. This is an experiment. I have no idea how this is going to work out. Might be something I start over with. This lovely dots and these spooky trees. So we'll put these somewhere else. So I've already taped down with a little bit of painter's tape, just barely on the edge. I don't want this to slide around. I've taped this to the center of my grid paper, and I'm going to tape this down also with a little low-tack tape. I'm going to tape the mask on top. Now, this is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch sheet of paper, or sheet of Whisper White cardstock. That's your first layer on a card front. I'm actually going to cut this down though with my favorite nested rectangle stitch rectangle dies. So the fact that some of this is going to be caught on the tape is not going to be a problem. Did you know with our grid paper that the top of the grid paper is a ruler that's called a centering ruler? This heavier line down the center is the 0 mark. And if I make sure that the edges of my cardstock are at the same number, it's going to be centered from side to side. So that's a cool little tip. So I guess there might be an up and a down to this, but I'm not going to worry about that. Anyway, the thing about the centering ruler is I'm going to use also this to make sure that this is centered on my cardstock by making sure that the edges are at 3. Okay, edges are 3. You can tell that this center line is running right through the middle of this mask. Okay, so colors. I'll show you one that I did before the new catalog came out. This one in shades of purple. This was on using a set of masks that we don't have anymore. This time I'm going in shades of yellow and orange. And how I came up with that is basically, I've showed you a picture of my, what I have my back to as I'm stamping. And this is one of the one of the clipboards that has my organization of my colors. This is what I call the rainbow-etical order. And I just picked the first 3 colors because I thought they looked pretty cool together. And I'm going to go from light, crushed curry, Mango Melody, Pumpkin Pie. So here are my ink pads. So I'm going to start with the lighter color. Now, technically you don't have to use 3 different sponge brayers on this. You could just, after you're done with one color, just, roll the ink off of it. But just to keep it straight for myself, I'm going to use 3 different colors. Okay, and this is not an exact science, so we're not going to really get too excited about how this is going to work. One thing I'll tell you is this: when you're inking up your sponge brayer, this is true of the old black rubber brayers that we used to have too, you want to roll and lift, roll and lift, roll and lift. Just like you're loading up a roller for painting a wall. You don't want to go back and forth, back and forth. In that case, you're only going to get color on just half of this, or not even. So it's roll and lift, roll and lift. I'm also going to tell you, you might be able to see this here, that this actually uses a tremendous amount of ink. Okay, so what I don't want to get is a very serious line. So I'm going to go back and forth, and that is what I call excellent. Okay, so again, I'm not going to share this sponge brayer. Next, Mango Melody. I suppose if I had brought over something like a Kleenex, I could, well, you know, just one moment. Because the bathroom is right here. I would rub, ooh, look how much came off. And I don't really want to get that A on my hands or B on the next color. Okay, I have to also show you how bad this pad looks. So this is due to be replaced on my next order. I think I somehow did something bad. Okay, so this is orange. Can you see the difference? Why do I ask a question like that when I cannot hear if anyone's answering? I really don't even know if you're listening or watching. Okay, so crushed curry, Mango Melody, and finally a little pumpkin pie. This seems like it could be re-inked. I forgot to wipe off the mask. Oh, look at that. Quite lovely. And you know what? I'm not going to look at this. I'm not going to test it, see if I need to add color. I think that would only lead to bad things happening. So however this looks, when I reveal this, ta-da, that's the way it's going to end up. Whoa, cool. So the other reason that I wanted to cut this down is, do you see how I ripped off some of the paper with this painter's tape? I don't know if a post-it note would be enough sticky to hold it down. And if I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to rip the paper, I probably would have done this on my pants or whatever to get some of the tack off. I don't really care because it's going to get cut off. Okay, just rip it. How cool is that? Okay, so that is creating an ombre effect background using sponge brayers and a mask. And I'm going to assemble this card and I will show it to you later this week. Thank you.